Morning peeps, good morning everyone, how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. Let's see what there is to talk about today. Let's start here. Francis Ngannou on Tyson Fury. I kept imposing my style. My southpaw stance was making him work. Fair. He switched southpaw a couple of times. Look, there were questions going into this fight whether or not this guy could box, let alone switch stances and look comfortable switching as well. I mean, look, we're a couple of days removed now, so we don't need to continue talking about Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. But understand, we were on the cusp of one of the biggest upsets in sporting history. So forget boxing history. I mean, people have compared it to Joshua Ruiz in heavyweight terms and Tyson Buster Douglas. Way bigger than that. Like, way bigger than that. This was going to be one of the biggest upsets in sports history. So you can understand why people are continuing to talk about it. Look, we did a video yesterday about what next for Francis Ngannou. What next is he's getting paid. I don't know what he got paid for the Fury fight. I think it was around $10 million. He's going to get paid that and I think a bit more for his next fight. So well done to Francis Ngannou. Ben Davison could see Fabio Wardley facing Joseph Parker next. Okay, obviously Ben Davison, part of the Fabio Wardley team, has been for just over a year. I did mention this yesterday. I mean, if you're Fabio Wardley, it's a great fight for you. It's a great fight. I mean, you should be looking that way, right? And Joseph Parker is above Fabio Wardley. You'll say Joseph Parker right now could be, and he won't want to be this, but he could be a very, very good gatekeeper for anyone trying to break into that top 10, top 15 heavyweight division. And that's where Fabio Wardley wants to be. If you're Joseph Parker, you're not looking at Fabio Wardley. This isn't discrediting Fabio. Fabio, I think we can all see, it's a good fight. But if you're Joseph Parker, you want to be chasing Martin Bakole, maybe. I dare say even a Zhili Zhang. That's kind of what, you won't get that fight, but that's kind of what you want to be chasing. But I can see why Fabio wants that fight. Fabio would fancy it as well. You'd have to make Joseph Parker a favourite, but I mean, Fabio looks good, you know, a lot better than I think people expected. Like right now, if they were to make Fabio Fraser Clark, you'd have to edge to Fabio. You'd have to. On that back of that win and what he's done prior, you'd have to edge to Fabio. Eubank Jr., I think Fury is probably an underdog in the Usyk fight. We do this all the time, didn't we? I mean, when Usyk beat Dubois, but obviously the controversy with the low blow, I think everyone said, oh, Usyk maybe is coming to the end and Fury's going to smash him. All of a sudden, Fury struggles now against Ngannou, and it's the other way around. It's flipped. I don't know. I do think Fury is the type of boxer that raises his game when he needs to against an opponent. So I don't know. I still make Fury a slight favourite. I'm not going to just judge Fury on what I saw in the early hours of Sunday morning. I still think there is a good boxer there. And I think Fury will step up his game when he takes on Alexander Usyk because he has to. Although I've shortened it, I think it's 55-45. I still think it's a very, very good fight, but I think I still would edge to Fury just. I say that with no conviction at all, by the way. Eddie Hearn, the value of the Fury-Usyk fight has plummeted. People want Fury-Ngannou rematch. That's an interesting debate, isn't it? I mean, I said this on the video yesterday. Like, if I'm Francis Ngannou, the one fight I'm chasing, although there are other money fights, is Fury. And if I'm Fury, I want Ngannou because I do want to right that wrong. Again, that the undisputed fight's there and it's a lot of money. Forget, you know, if you were to remove the purses, obviously you can't, but if you were, play this game with me. If you were to remove the purses, what fight makes more money, generates more legit money? Usyk Fury or Fury Ngannou? I feel like Fury Ngannou on pay-per-view does more than Fury Usyk. So Eddie's got a point, but it doesn't matter, does it? Because regardless of what kind of pay-per-view buys Fury Usyk does, we're hearing they're both going to get somewhere between 100 million for Fury and 70 million for Usyk. So the value hasn't plummeted because Saudi doesn't work on value. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they have to hit a number. The pockets are so deep, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that kind of, I guess, leads along to what I wanted to discuss. Saudi Arabia inboxing. Is it good or bad? I think that question is quite open-ended, but I feel like we can still have a discussion about it. You know, the easiest way to answer this is to speak to the most important people in the sport. So it's not the managers, it's not the promoters, it's not the broadcasters, it's not even us, the fans, the most important people, the boxers. You ask the boxers if Saudi Arabia is good for boxing, and I think 99.9% of them, in fact 100% of them that fought on the card on Sunday would say absolutely yes. Absolutely yes, because you know what? They're overpaying. And boxers want to get paid. Boxers want to get paid, and they want to get paid with no problems. And what I mean by that is I'm fortunate with what I do that I speak to a lot of former boxers. And when you hear the horror stories about chasing payments for fights, it blows your mind. Honestly, it blows your mind. It's the wild, wild west. So these fighters on Saturday would have been overpaid. And not only just the pay, how they were treated in Saudi, they would say absolutely yes. Can we do every single fight, every single weekend in Saudi Arabia? It's true. I mean, David Adeleye and Fabio Wardley, that was the most expensive British heavyweight title fight there's ever been. And I mean, you only have to look down the list of some of the big ones. I mean, AJ versus Dillian Whyte was on pay-per-view. So I questioned it immediately. I was like, there's no way Wardley and Adeleye got paid more than AJ and Whyte. And I was told, Ade, you are wrong. Wardley and Adeleye got paid. So fighters want to be out there. Fighters want to be out there. The biggest problem, though, is that it overpays. It overpays, right? And, like, for example, if Wardley and Adeleye did get paid, let's just say $500,000 each, how the hell are they going to go back to wanting to get paid 75 grand, 50 grand? I don't know what Fabio Wardley gets paid, but I'd be surprised if it's high six figures. Put it that way. How'd you go from making that to that for the same job? This is the issue right now. It's the same job. Like you would argue that Fraser Clark Wardley is a tougher fight for Wardley than Adeleye. But if you get $500,000 for Adeleye, how are you then wanting to or supposed to accept 100 grand, which is the true market value for Fraser Clark? That's going to be difficult. That's the problem. They're overpaying, and it leads, I think, fighters to then think, I can only have one fight a year because I've almost now made my whole yearly income in one fight. Or they're going to want to get overpaid, and then it just destroys the market. This is the problem with it right now. And I think we kind of have seen this with the AJ Wilder fight. I've always said that AJ Wilder, wherever it is in the world, whether it's the UK, US or anywhere, is still a mega money fight. But the Saudis came in, a different group, but the Saudis came in and said, no, we're going to overpay. And then all of a sudden that was removed. And now if you're AJ Wilder, you're like, well, 1 second, we kind of heard 50-50, in terms of million each. I don't really want to fight for 20. When 20 really is the true value. So this is the problem I think we're going to experience with a lot of those fighters that fought in Saudi. They're going to want to fight in Saudi again. It's just the way it is. And they're going to hear numbers. They're going to hear numbers that sort of the UK and US are offering. I'm like, nah. I got paid way more in my last fight, even though way more was unrealistic. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It reminds me of when I remember hearing about this when DAZN first landed. Remember when DAZN first landed, Matchroom were doing DAZN fights in the US, but then there was Sky Sports fights in the UK. And all of a sudden, a lot of the UK fighters wanted to fight on the DAZN US shows because it was getting paid that bit more than the Sky Sports UK shows. So again, it muddies the water a little bit. But yeah, look, I don't know whether or not it's just like how interested they are. Are they just here to do sort of those big Super Bowl, WrestleMania events, or are they going to do smaller events and almost, pay the fighters a bit more, but not go crazy? Because again, I'm all happy for fighters to get paid, but if you're getting paid unrealistic sums of money, how are you going to react when you have to just get paid your normal amount, your normal market rate based on what you bring to the table, eyeballs, bums on seats, and interest? I don't know. It is, this is a bit of a silly analogy, but it's almost like, you go for a few dates with a new girl where, hear me out on this one. You go for a few dates with a new girl, and you just go all in early. You go all in early. In your first date, you just fucking Michelin star restaurant, central London, and you have really over-delivered, right? Second date, you do it again. You over-deliver. And then the third date, you get back to more realism and it's Nando's. Like, what the fuck? I ain't fucking going Nando's after going Sexy Fish and all those other restaurants. There is an issue there. There is an issue. So look, we'll see how the Saudis play this. We'll see how the fighters play it. I'm all happy for Saudi to be in the boxing world. I loved being out there. It was incredible. But I just wonder if it's now a bit of a problem. And I use Adelaide Ward as an example because I heard it was the most highest paid British title fight in history. And if it was over here, that wouldn't be the case. It'll be a big fight, but it would not be the case at all. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I've not even spoke about Usyk Foster and Rocky Hernandez. I actually haven't seen the round 11 that everyone's talking about. What I will say though is I see a lot of people tweet about the scorecards prior to the knockout, and thank God Usyk Foster got the knockout because it looked like he was going to get absolutely screwed on the scorecards, like destroyed. So thank God he got that, and now it does set up a fight between him and Joe Cordina if Joe can come through his fight on the weekend against Vasquez, isn't it? So yeah, let's see how that one plays out. Team Deontay Wilder revealed talks already ongoing for Francis Ngannou clash. Everyone's going to want that money. Everyone is going to want that money. Mauricio Solomon, Ngannou is a solid boxer who deserves to be ranked by the WBC. I don't know if that's how it works. I don't know if you can just have one fight and all of a sudden be ranked, but this is the WBC we're talking about. Anything else to talk about before we wrap up? You know, a fight that is kind of going under the radar a little bit, Benavidez versus Demetrius Andrade. Don't you feel like that's going under the radar? That fight is 4 weeks away, and I feel like we're not really hearing about it. You know, I think if it's a pay-per-view, I think that's a problem, but it's a good fight, you know? That's a very, very good fight. I don't know. I want to do some live watch-alongs, and I want to do some lives. If we're not going to America, and I'm not quite sure if I am, I do want to do live watch-alongs of Ryan Garcia, Oscar Duarte, Regis Prograis, Devin Haney, definitely, and of course, 100%, Bam Sonny. I'll let you guys know once it's confirmed whether or not I'm staying or going. And I do want to do a live this week as well. I'm trying to think, could we do a live tomorrow? You know what? Live tomorrow. Book it. We're going to do a live tomorrow. I'm going to tweet about it now so everyone knows. But let's get this done. Live tomorrow. Peace.